Shy and retiring.
Alright, guys.
I can never get anybody to believe that.
Thanks for coming today, and we're excited to get your involvement with this project.
No problem.
To begin, can you please tell us who you are, what you do, and give us a brief sketch of the most crucial events and circumstances in your life that have created who you are today?
My name's Mary Hogue, and I work in a construction company, generally doing administrative duties. What is the thing that has made me who I am? I don't know if there's any one thing. It's just a combination of everything in my life. I just accumulate things and ideas and plans, and so I've had a lot of things happen to me, but I don't associate them with who I am. So
okay.
Charles Blanchard, originally from Maine. I guess some of the early things that made me a little different was a friend of mine being run over by a freight train right in front of me, and me being covered in blood, going cataleptic for 3 days, and then finding out some years later I was somewhere else. When I came out of it, I was very different. I was much more observant. I was a pretty bright child prior to that, but I became more so afterward. I actually had to learn to start talking to people when I met the woman I married, my ex-wife. And those instances also changed me radically in each of their events. And the final being is meeting my friend Kay. Otherwise, I may never have learned to trust anybody again.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. It's crucial to get to know a little bit about where people come from, to figure out where we're all going to go. And turning to that then, what do you guys consider to be the top 5 issues facing us today? We'll come back to these a little later in our talk, but if you could just begin by naming the issues that are the foremost in your mind, both as citizens of the United States and also as members of the global community.
Well, I thought you might want to go first, because I'm very opinionated.
well, you go first, and I'll think about what I want to say.
Well, I wrote it down initially, but that was when I was sitting and thinking about it. Off the top of my head, it might be a little different, but my first one is the moral climate. I think that we've lost something here in America when we've turned our back on our moral heritage. And the more we lose it, the more I see society becoming more animalistic and more of a nation of predators rather than a people of reasoning insight. I think that's the primary thing. Everything else links back to that. The less we regard God in our lives, the less we regard man. The less we regard man, the easier it is to do evil without conscience. Everything else, like I said, stems from that. The oil, the political climate, our problem with the other nations, even 9/11 all stems from that. Terrorism would have as free a reign as it does if we would stand for God first, our neighbor second.
Okay, what about you?
Well, I agree with him. I think that we do have problems with our moral climate. A lot of problems, actually. We keep going farther and farther away, and a lot of things stem from that. That I think that people are materialistic now. They have a lot more concern about being famous or being wealthy than they have about anything else.